Yes, yes. Hello, team. Welcome to the match preparation video for the Gap Football Club. This game will be played on the 2nd of August. And despite what we may think of the Gap's position on the ladder, we got a very strong result against them the first time we played them, and we beat them 6-2. However, the second time, they gave us one hell of a scare. Notwithstanding, we dominated the game. However, they managed to find a goal through just a bit of bad luck in defence, and we were very fortunate to come away on the back of a great finish by Will. We wasted a lot of chances, but what it demonstrates is how we cannot take any team in this competition lightly. Okay. What I did want to point out is if we have a look at the Gaps results, okay, so obviously they're well down the ladder, but they had a win against Redlands. Redlands beat us. They beat Redlands 4-3 at home. They've had a loss to Samford 4-0. They lost to Coomera 3-1, and they narrowly beat Ipswich 2-1. Now, we beat Ipswich 2-1 first time we played them. We beat them 2-0 at home, and then we beat them 3-2 a couple of weeks ago. So we cannot take these guys lightly, okay? We need to get 3 points because we're at a point of the season where if I go to the ladder and we highlight where we are, we're on 18 points level with Coomera. Now, Coomera have played a game, okay? They have played a game against Redlands. We do not know the result of that fixture as yet. So they could be on 28 points, just 2 points behind us, but one game ahead. So it's extremely important that we continue to get points because Coomera are going to push us all the way to the end of the season. So there is no room for complacency on Sunday. We need to go out there, play our football, do our job, come away with those points. Fortunately, if we have a look at that, there are two teams that we're really competing with for the top four spots. Excelsior, they're now 9 points adrift. Look, they need a lot to go their way in order to catch up with us and take a top four spot. Personally, I think it's a little bit beyond them, really. But notice they're nine points behind us with a goal difference of what's that, about 12 goals. Okay, so that's a big job, especially given that they don't play us, so they don't have a 6-pointer, so to speak. So we win this weekend, and we completely end their season. Mathematically, we end their season. All right. More importantly, we keep a gap on Coomera. Very important that we bring our A game. Okay, so we'll go. Just go back to normal programming. There's a couple of things I wanted to point out about this, about how we are going to play. You will notice that this match preparation slide looks very similar to what I put up against MCE, very similar to what I put up against Ipswich. That's because we are rapidly developing and refining our style of play. It's a style of play which I think suits us, and it can give us the opportunity to create enough chances to win the games by scoring goals. So essentially, this formation gives us a chance to retain possession. It plays to our strengths. It creates enough opportunities for us to score goals that can win a game. But most importantly, it makes us stable at the back and it keeps our defence tight. We do have the second best defence, tied with North Lakes. Unfortunately, the 5-1 result against North Lakes put us well out of Lions range, but nonetheless, we are still one of the better defensive units in the side. So if we keep it tight and then we take our chances, we can beat any team in this competition. Therefore, our goal will remain to retain the ball across multiple phases. We want to stretch the opposition, create opportunities, and then break through. When we break through, we want to create good quality opportunities and finish early. Don't hesitate. You need to have a killer instinct to get that ball into the net. And finally, possibly our biggest weapon is the intensity of our press. So the way we press the opposition, don't let them get out of their own half, and make it hard for them to get out of their defensive third comfortably. Win the ball in the middle of the pitch and create transitional opportunities. So that is our style of play. you've probably recently watched the match review, so I won't bore you with the same footage, but there are a couple of extra bits. There were several bits of play in that football in that game which really excited me. In particular, after we scored, we had a really well, we pretty much dominated for the bulk of the rest of the half. And look, Excelsior are not a bad team. We're just better. So if we go back to 18, so this is the passage of play. Okay, so we've got the ball. Now, look, previously, what we may have been tempted to do is we may have been tempted to try to go long. But nowadays, actually, you know what? I will go. The black circles do somehow work better. So they've got plenty of boys. They were coming after us, you know, these guys, they were trying to bully us. That's pretty much Excelsior's style of play, really. So they've got plenty of blokes up forward in the press. They're trying to keep us down. Now, they were coming at us. Okay. They had conceded. They were trying to find their way back into the game. And in reality, in this situation, there's the temptation with the ball at Griggsy's feet. There's the temptation for him to lump it or try to force a pass forward. And as you can see, if we take these passes, whoop, 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 whoop. If we try to pass here, could be cut out. Try to pass here, very tight. Try to get this through, very tight, can be converted, can be intercepted. But the easy option is going to be to find Max, and then Max can assist us to play out and find the space. So Griggsy finds Max. Notice he draws 17, he's using a lot of petrol to try to run this down. Max gets onto the ball, draws, passes at the last minute to Major. Major receives the ball. Now, Major's got options at this point. He's got passing options. He can also put his foot on the ball, and if he puts his foot on the ball, then he can find other options. But the point of the story is we have nicely played our way out of that trouble. Major's here. He's got a runner on his inside. He's got line. We're holding space in the middle there. So if he puts his foot on, he can go forward. If he puts his foot on, steps back, he can go back. He can also access the middle of the pitch if he can stop. So we need to continue playing in this fashion. There's another section which I'll take you through in 23:10. This hopefully will be a relatively fast match preparation video, simply because we're building on themes that we've already established. Okay, so here now. Okay, so we've managed to turn over the ball. Now notice there's no panic here. That's one of the great things that having the centre backs we have at the back. We've got Max, we've got Zach. They give us so much calm. Now there's plenty of teams that would find this problematic, okay? So we've got 5 players back. Excelsior have 4 back, and they're chasing hard. Well, except for Kalen, he's sort of meandering. But we're all familiar with Kalen's press. So goes back. Now, look, really good, really confident play here. Mickey dummies this way, and then he finds Max. Max immediately turns, realizes we've got numbers in the middle of the pitch, so he finds Zach. And then finds Griggsy. Griggsy comes through, finds Luke. Luke accesses the width. So here we are. We can play through teams. Riley's got options, steps inside, finds Zach Miller-Shea. So we've exploited the space, and we have literally turned within a passage of 7 or 8 passes maybe, we've turned what was a attacking opportunity of theirs into possession and control of the ball. We're making them chase the ball all over the shop. This is their number 17. He's a dangerous player. Do you know what I mean? He's fast. He cut us to ribbons last year, and even earlier this year, he gave us some grief. But now, honestly, we make him run around all day. They soon lose that energy. Even elite triathletes, honestly, they've probably got 3 or 4 intense sprints in them, and then they start to fatigue. So if they want to burn themselves in that press, doing these solo cowboy press routines, then go for your life. But if we move the ball, we control the game, we take opportunities away from the opposition, and then we maximise our chances of creating opportunities. So here we go. We're in the same position here. So we've drawn the ball back. We can use Mick to bounce. Mick's quite good with his feet, and if he's not, he can just lump it away. There were plenty of occasions in the second half where he lumped it away when they were coming at us really hard. Options that are available to Mac. Zach, he can turn out. He's got the confidence to find Griggsy in the middle. Griggsy could then find Max. Griggsy could then find width. But the point is we've got options. That's exactly what he does. So he finds Griggsy, notice carefully, recognizes that Griggsy's got heaps of space. Griggsy's also done a fantastic job to track back. Griggsy's now got so many options in the middle of the pitch, but the key is going to be to move the ball quickly. And whether that ball movement is going to be to find Luke Payne out here, to find Max out here, or even turn, look forward. He definitely needs a call from his teammates before redistributing. Takes a touch, looks, finds Luke out wide. Now Luke advances. Luke realizes that there's an opportunity because Luke's onside. Because of the space, because they've overpressed, because of Kalen's legendary ability to track back. We've got a 2-on-1 here. Their right back doesn't know whether to come up and shut down the ball, which he wants to, or try to track back and find Luke. As it turns out, beautifully weighted pass by Luke Payne, and we've literally turned defence into attack, but we haven't done it by lumping the ball up. We've done it by making the ball do the work and playing our way through. And we've got some great opportunities here. I mean, Luke looks up. They're all tracking back because, there's only so many times they can do that before they're going to think, well, Jesus, why am I legging it all the way back here? Okay, so we've got all these attackers for Luke Williams to focus on. Pokes it in behind. Unfortunately, Mayal was offside, which does bring us to, and this is not just isolating Mayal, for fuck's sake, keep yourselves onside. Like especially in that situation, there's no reason to be offside. You could be 2 or 3 meters onside and still get through and get the ball. So make sure you're disciplined in making sure that you keep yourself onside. All right. So that's what I wanted to cover off in that respect. Okay. So retain the ball across multiple phases, continue to build that. We're not playing basketball. There's no shot clock. We can take as many passes as we want to get up the other side. And the more passes and the more space that we use, the more we wear down our opponent, the more likely we are to find an opportunity and then exploit it. And once again, if we try to go down the right-hand side and they block it, that's fine. Back it out, have another go. Find another option, reuse the ball, retain the ball and try up the middle, or retain the ball and try on the left, or switch the point of attack. The point of the story is we don't need to be, we've only got 20 seconds. Let's go through here. And then, oh no, gosh, now we end up having to defend. And we end up with this ridiculous basketball like football, which a lot of teams in this competition are playing. Let's be a football team. Let's use the ball. Let's control the ball. And then obviously dominating possession with our press. I'm not going to focus on our press in this game because we've been doing a really good job of it. If you want to focus on our press, I spent a lot of time talking about our press in the match review of the Excelsior game, which we've just done. We'll now move on to the opposition. Something I wanted to point out. Okay, here we go. So they use the full pitch. One thing they do, they're actually quite a big side physically. They're a bigger side than us physically. And what I feel that they try to do is they try to make the field very big. Okay, they spread out, makes it a 1v1 game as much as they can, and that allows them to use, they've got some big boppers in there. That allows them space to try to exploit. But they are a passing team, make no mistake. These are the numbers from the last time we played them, okay, when we played them at home. So this is us. So we passed, and this is actually not a bad passing game for us. But I would point out that when we played them, we dominated possession. I think we had 57% possession over them. So that's probably, they're the numbers that you'd expect. They're similar numbers to what we had when we played Excelsior on Tuesday, okay? Actually, so I'll just switch them. I've labelled them incorrectly. This is Grange here, and this is the Gap. So considering they only had 43% of the possession, they've actually done a reasonable good job. And you can see here, like 21 times they link together 3 to 5 passes. That's them trying to play out. They're not a long ball side, really, okay? They're much more a team that tries to go through the middle and then find a penetrating pass. I'll illustrate some of that shortly. But they've got six or more passes on two occasions, and their longest passing string was seven. So presumably they either had two passing strings of seven or two passing strings of six. Um, on the other hand, we linked together three to five passes 29 times. We had six or more passes seven times, and our longest passing string was eight. So we definitely dominated the ball, definitely moved the ball well. I want to see this passing approach combined with our press to win the ball more often, to dominate the game and maintain control of the game more comprehensively. That's really what we're building towards, because that is what's going to win us games in September. And we have some stiff competition to test that against as we move into the finals, because we play Lions twice, Sanford and North Lakes. So we will get ample opportunity to test our style of play against the stronger teams in this division. Physicality will be important. This is a gap team. They traditionally have bigger lads. It just is what it is. Probably this side's not as technically competent as some teams, but they are big. So we will have to stand up to the test and use our physicality, because we're going to have to earn the right to win. Okay, we're going to have to assert ourselves physically, but not detract from the fact that we want to retain the ball. Now, finally, they seem to me to use a midfield platform, and they probably do it quite well. I mean, I mentioned earlier when we did the Excelsior draw that their striker tries to set back to their midfielders and then play through. These guys are a little different. They did it a lot with our press. There's three sections, and I've highlighted it with a specific player. Because they've got this little chap in their side. We'll start at 1844. They got this little side, and it'd be very tempting because he's not a big unit, and truth be told, I'm not convinced he's the best footballer floating around. However, however they use him smart. Now, the thing to look for as we are here, okay, here's the key to look for. What you got to look for? Here we go. I've even got purple numbers. You need to pay attention to this bloke. This is their big. I think he wears number 31. He's the big, lanky striker. This guy, not so much. But this is this little chap. He's this little Indian chap. Now, he's got space there. I don't know why he's got so much space, because, we should have pressure on the ball. We should have Zach here. Griggsy's coming across. But if we watch it unfold, so the thing we need to look at is the relationship between these two players. So the ball goes through, this guy fires the ball, and straight away, okay, so he draws and this guy's off. So this is a consistent theme where they get the ball into the middle of the pitch. Now, they're not actually going long. They're just playing him through. Now, obviously, this is not far down the pitch, but a lot of their play goes to trying to unleash this guy through on goal. Okay, so we need to look out for that and not provide that space. As I said, they try to make the space big to get those bodies on the ball in the middle of the pitch and then play the big guy through. We've given him way too much space there. Like, he's got a lot of space. Zach's got to go over and cover. Max is coming over. So we need to do better in that situation. Now we're going to go up to 2356. And the reason I mentioned, I've highlighted this kid, any of their players can do this, any of their midfielders can do this, but they use this little bloke especially. So here we are. Once again, you can see he's been putting his hand up for it, okay? So they've obviously decided for whatever reason, and here's the big bopper. And what I think you're probably going to find is the ball's going to go to this boy. And then, so the pass is going to go, from this guy. Pass is going to go here. Now, it could be anyone, and he's going to play through for this chap to run through and onto, okay? Let's see how it unfolds. Finds the ball, straight away plays him through. Max has lost him. Everybody looks over to see whether he's offside. You cannot gamble on getting that offside call. You've just got to be in position, and we have to track him better. We have to track him. He's quite quick, and he's got a decent finish. We got at least one. He might have got both goals, actually, when we played them in the first round of fixtures. So anyway, they've called him offside, but if not, he's through. Do you know what I mean? And that's not ideal. So we really need to watch out for that, because, other than the offside, like, he caught us out there. Like, he got the space. He just got called offside. And, that was just poor timing. It was just poor execution on his behalf. So it wasn't anything we did. We were tracking back. The offside, our back line had been broken. He just mistimed his run. And now here, okay, so ball goes back. Now notice this kid again, the little brown bloke here, number 31. He knows to look for it. Okay, he's looking for that run. He's looking for that ball from this little bloke. I don't know whether it's that they've figured out that people tend not to mark him closely because they don't see him as a threat because he's the smallest bloke on the pitch. So people are going, they don't pay attention to him. They don't give him the respect that he needs. We need to mark him, or we need to track their strikers' runs because as it goes through, bang. Now he's got some toe. Max gets over and defends. Oh, no, Zach gets over, does really well, but we need to shut him down. And furthermore, if you remember this gap game, we had Zach off the pitch for a period of time with a lower leg complaint. And during that time, they really gave us a shake. I mean, that's actually the period of time where they scored their goal. So we cannot be complacent against this gap side because if we are complacent, they are more than capable of hurting us. All right. So that pretty much covers off my match preview of the gap. It's a shorter one. That's fine. But rest assured, okay, if you have any doubts how important this game is, you just need to remind yourself of the table. This is a must-win fixture for us because our upcoming fixtures are Lions twice, one of them at home on Tuesday, which I'm very much looking forward to. And then we play them away, North Lakes and Sanford. So we play the top three teams. We need to have our eyes forward because we play Sanford, we play North Lakes. That gives us a chance to take points off both of those teams, which means we are more than capable of forcing our way higher in the positions. So to second is not out of the question, and third is definitely in the realm of possibilities. But we also need to be important that we win these fixtures, which we would expect to get 3 points in, because we have Coomera chasing. This table shows them as 5 points behind, but they could very easily only be 2 points behind if they won the fixture against Redlands on Sunday, which we just don't have the result for. So, let's get out there, let's get the result, and let's make this season what we set out to make it at the start of the year, which was finals football, because if we make finals football, all we have to do then is win 2 fixtures. Rest up, arrive focused, arrive ready to play football, and I will look forward to seeing you all on Sunday.